Namaste, beloved. How are you? My name is Syma, and I am a sacred feminine coach, healer, and bestselling author of the books Goddess Reclaimed and Manifest Soulmate Love. You can find me at flourishinggoddess.com. I'm so excited to share with you your reading for 2019. I'm going to be doing our tradition, well, it's become a new tradition, doing a goddess reading for you. And I'm going to be pulling cards. Well, actually, I've already pulled the cards, but what I've done is one card per quarter for 2019. And the deck that I'm using, I'm often asked, is the Goddess Guidance deck by Doreen Virtue. Now, you'll see some of my cards. They look very old, and it's because my deck is old. This was the first Goddess Oracle deck that I got maybe 12 years ago. It was a long, long time ago, and maybe I'm due for a new deck of this one, but I just love them because when we use decks over time, they continue to accumulate the potency of the readings that we do. So I feel like even though the cards might look a little old, and you'll see that in the reading, that the messages are very potent and powerful. So I've already pulled the cards for you, and the messages are so beautiful. What I invite you to do is, if you want to press pause and take a moment to just get a journal, get some tea and cozy up and enjoy your reading. I want to be very clear that if you're guided to this video, then the reading applies to you. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman, a man, what your star sign is, when you're watching it throughout the year, maybe next year. Sometimes people watch videos a couple of years later and they say that that reading really applied to them. So I just want you to trust that if you felt guided to come here, that this reading is for you. Now, in order to really open to receiving its messages, I invite you to just take a moment and close your eyes and say a prayer to God, Goddess, your higher self, whoever you connect with, the universe, and ask that all the messages that come through for you are for your greatest good, that you receive them in your mind, body, heart, and spirit, so that they can really bring you the divine guidance that will support you and empower you in the new year. And most of all, to really honor your own inner guidance, remembering that the truest teacher is the inner guide. And so may the truth of these messages resonate with the truth within you. And may you open to receiving messages, especially from these beautiful goddesses. These goddesses in this reading have come through from different parts of the world and different times, reminding us as women and as brothers, as men, that we have so much sacred feminine support. So let's open to receiving this as I offer myself to be a clear channel of divine love, guidance, messages for you, beloved. And we ask that this reading and all the messages that come through be for your greatest good in all ways and open you to divine healing, love, miracles, and infinite blessings. So be it. And so it is. Okay, so it's just always nice to get centered before we receive a reading. So my love, the very first goddess that came through for you for the first quarter of 2019, yeah, I have my light there, which is like a little angel following the card, is from the goddess Isis. And you can probably see that this card has come up a lot. It's got quite a bit of wear and tear, but I love my goddess Isis and this particular card because this is one of the most powerful cards, and Isis is one of the most, I'm maybe a little biased, but for me, she is the most powerful goddess. She's behind me in that beautiful statue. In my book, Goddess Reclaimed, she's the final goddess that you meet on a 13 goddess journey. And the reason for that is Isis is the goddess of 10,000 names. And she embodies all the qualities, the sacred qualities of femininity, the sacred feminine, the divine feminine, and even a lot of qualities actually of the divine masculine. So she is a whole goddess, and in this particular message, she is coming to you to support you with healing your past. So very specifically, she's saying that the first quarter of next year, oftentimes we think of New Year's as new beginnings and a time to start fresh and manifest our dreams. We might set our goals, our resolutions, our intentions, our dreams. But what Isis is saying is that in order to manifest anything that you wish to, there are some roots going back to your past that are still bounding you to old karma. Karma is, it's basically the soul lessons that your soul intended to learn. And perhaps there were challenges that came across on your soul's journey where you create karma. What that really means, in my perspective, it's nothing bad. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's not like, oh, you got bad karma. What it is that, there are certain challenges and we process things in a certain way where maybe the choices that we make have consequences that don't serve our highest good and don't align with the truth of who we are, and perhaps don't even honor the people that we were connected with in a lifetime, or things happened to us from other people or other situations where the conclusions that we made, what we made them mean for us, created a disconnect between who we are as powerful, divine, holy children of God, Goddess, however you want to call the divine. And so Isis is saying that you are an old soul and you've had a long soul journey. In fact, she's telling me that you are perhaps an ancient soul. And so you've had many, many lifetimes of, just accumulating so much divine wisdom and gifts and knowledge. And a lot of growth has happened already on your soul journey. But what 2019 is inviting you to begin the year with, my love, is to clear anything from your past that's still holding you back. So for example, part of my karma, I've had many soul lessons that I had to learn. One of them on my spiritual journey specifically was learning to really come into my power. And when I did past life healing work on my own with the goddess Isis, and this is why I do this in my healing practice now, is she showed me different lifetimes, one in particular where I had my last years ago when I left the corporate world, I had to clear this karma with my boss and authority figures where I was afraid of being in my spiritual power because I saw myself being burnt as a witch in a past life during the witch trials. And so that created a lot of fear for me of coming out of the spiritual closet. And if I hadn't overcome that, I would not be making this video today. I would not be serving you and doing what I love, writing books and doing, all this beautiful goddess work in the world and empowering fellow women to reconnect with their sacred feminine power. But there was a lot of fear before that I needed to clear. So what area in your life do you feel a fear come up that almost feels unfounded, that you can't even figure out why a certain situation maybe triggers you so much, why you can't move forward, some kind of inner struggle or block? And the way you might know something is karmic is if no matter what you keep trying on the outside, the same pattern keeps repeating over and over again. Another hint might be the childhood that you came into. So I came into childhood that was very abusive, very oppressive to the feminine, and like specifically with my father being a very dominant, abusive figure. Thank God he's changed a lot, and that has to do with a lot of healing I have done and a lot of boundary setting I had to do younger in my years to clear this family karma and come back into my power. But sometimes we have childhoods where we're bringing in the residue of past lives. And it's, again, nothing bad. We do this because we want to learn fast. We want to get on our healing path, our spiritual path really quickly. So sometimes we might just bring in, from the soul's perspective, it's not seen as a bad thing when we have challenges. It's seen as what will fast track your growth on your spiritual path. So then we collaborate with certain souls that can be our spiritual teachers and get us early in our childhood and then, in our adolescence and in our life. If we don't learn those lessons, they might keep repeating themselves until we do. So my love, the question for you, or, what you want to consider is, in the beginning of the new year, what pattern are you ready to let go of? Right? What is that thing that you are just finally going to say enough? enough, and to step up and really open to doing the uncomfortable, painful work, perhaps, of healing the past, whether it's through childhood or a past life regression, past life healing. I have a free video on my channel for past life healing, so I hope that at least gets you started. I also have an inner child healing meditation. So there are 2 free resources on my channel if you want to begin the process, my love, of doing this past life clearing work. Because what Isis' message is, this situation involves past life memories. So whatever might be coming up for you in the new year, embrace it as I'm finally going to free myself of this pattern by healing it and by really transforming it and taking the challenge and turning it into a spiritual lesson and opportunity for growth and evolution and expansion. And we do that by really extracting the soul lesson. When we learn that lesson, those situations no longer have a need to repeat themselves because we've freed ourselves. And even if something like that happens, it just won't affect you in the same way. It won't trigger you. It won't upset you. You won't feel that same reaction because you would have healed what it initially triggered in you or what it used to do to you, right? So as you do that, you free yourself and you're able to move forward, free of past karma, free of the need to keep repeating patterns that don't serve you or that disempower you in any way. So the first quarter of next year promises to be very, very deeply spiritual and powerful. Isis is the ultimate healer, the high priestess. So it's really also an invitation to connect with your soul, connect with your spirit, connect with the goddess, connect with the priestess. And however you feel guided, I have on flourishinggoddess.com, my website, many different ways that you can deepen into your goddess and spiritual path if you resonate with my work. But however you feel guided, it's really going to be a beautiful opportunity, not only to heal your past, but to do it in a way where you're really coming into your spiritual power, because that is the gift of the goddess Isis. And then where you're healing the wounds and the patterns, but you're at the same time resurrecting and reclaiming your soul gifts that you've had for so many lifetimes, and to bring them and awaken them to empower your life and to start fresh and create new patterns that serve you, that honor you, and that are truly in alignment with the beautiful, flourishing life that God, Goddess intended for you to have. Okay, my love. And I love the next goddess that comes through. So as we clear the past, then we have the goddess Freya come in. So Freya is a Norse goddess. She's such a badass. You can see she's very sexual, very confident, very bold, very feminine. She has her wild cats that she rides their chariot. She's got her Viking horn, the battle cry, and just this beautiful crystal palace and temple Asgardian inspired behind her. And her message is bold. She says, "Unleash your adventurous side, take risks, and be daring." I love this because now that we've healed the past in the first quarter, the second quarter, so this would be first quarter is January, February, March, second is April, May, June. Now it's time, it's basically spring and summer, right? So we are ready to make bold new moves. When we clear something, we create space, right? So now the ground is fertile. What do you want to create? So basically beginning of April, that's the fertile time of spring. Freya saying, don't be hesitant. Don't plant safe seeds is what I'm hearing. She's saying, get the biggest, baddest, juiciest seed, right? That you can find. So this is your dreams. Go big, go bold. Because when especially you heal and free yourself of something karmic, that's when you're really able to go so big. And I don't mean by big something necessarily big in the world. I mean big for you, right? So I just, really want to drive that home, because Freya is saying, don't be afraid that big doesn't have to mean you have to be famous or, do something crazy in the world. And sometimes there's a lot of pressure or comparison with social media. And so she's saying it has nothing to do with any of that. This is about you finally giving yourself permission to dare to dream and dare to know that your dreams are possible for you. They're meant for you, that you can co-create them and manifest them with boldness, with faith, and with inspired action. So Freya is a very active goddess. She can be a warrior and a lover and a queen, and she really empowers you to be a queen, to be a warrior, a warrioress, and to be a lover, and to make love to life, to take life by its horns, to just, ride it. So it's very sexy. It's that sacral chakra energy of desire and passion and pleasure. It's the solar plexus energy. So the sacral is the lover of Freya coming through. And then the solar plexus is that solar plexus sun, that power, the cat, the lioness that is bold and fierce and protective and golden and confident and unafraid. So I don't mean unafraid. Like, we always have fear, and that little voice in the head is always there, and that's okay. But we do want to not let that hold us back. And that's why I think Isis wanted to help us earlier in the year of clearing our fears and any patterns that give rise to our fear, so that we can be really bold in Q2 of next year and take bold, inspired action. So anything that you are feeling inspired to do or fantasizing about, it's going to go from fantasy to dream to goal to reality. And that will happen by first giving yourself permission to say it is right for you to dream big. It is safe for you to have your dreams come true. So that is what I think Isis will be helping you a lot with earlier, is helping you to feel safe and unafraid, and then go for it. And if there are opportunities coming your way, if there are things that are maybe pushing you out of your comfort zone, the message from Freya is go for it. Go for it as long as it lights you up inside, right? So don't take my word for it. I want you to always remember that, again, you are your inner guru. You are your inner guide is always inside of you. And especially for us as women and very sensitive brothers and men, we can feel this in our bodies, right? So if something lights you up, if it ignites you, if it feels juicy and joyful and fun and gets your passion going, gets you excited and motivated, Freya is saying, go for it. Go for it, because the universe is going to be supporting you, and you'll really be in your power and your light if you honor that, my love. So as you take inspired and bold steps and actions, I love the next goddess for you. It's Sedna. So Sedna is a beautiful Inuit and native goddess, and she is the goddess of the sea. She's a really beautiful, powerful goddess in a different way from Freya. She's the ocean and the dark depths of the ocean. So where Freya's energy is very active, Sedna's energy is very receptive and deep, intuitive, feminine. So she's the dark depths of the ocean. And her message for you here is infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. So sometimes when we're taking this bold action, especially if it connects to a dream job, starting a new business, a healing practice, or anything that especially involves any fear around being supported, Sedna is saying you have infinite supply. So the ocean, like Lakshmi behind me, is a goddess of money and the ocean and wealth, spiritual and material wealth. Aphrodite is the sea goddess of love, beauty, sexuality, but also the ocean of abundance. So oceans have always been associated with the unconscious and also with abundance and creation. Sacral chakra energy here again. And this message, my love, is to remember that you are a child of God. And ultimately, it's not your boss, your clients, your paycheck, your savings, your investments, or whoever, whatever else you think your supply comes through, whether that supply is money, love, support, anything. As a child of the divine creator, you are infinitely supplied for. All your needs are fulfilled by the divine and through the divine inside of you. So this will be a very spiritually and materially abundant time for you, where you will come into this receptivity. So if you notice here, Sedna is sleeping and she has this beautiful full moon behind her. And this is very feminine, receptive, quiet energy. And what I love, and I'll sort of pull it all together at the end of the reading, but these cards have a rhythm because, we are women, and those of us who are women watching this, we're cyclical beings, right? With our menstruation, with our cycles of menstruation and our fruition years and menopause. So whether on a monthly level or our life milestones, we are cyclical creatures. We have this cyclical connection to the ocean and the moon. And so the reading is where in each quarter of next year, we go like with Isis really deep within to clear old karma and past life and very spiritual. Then we come out with Freya taking this bold, inspired action. Then we go inward again and get really receptive and intuitive and open to the infinite supply, the source of infinite supply inside of you. So my love, nothing outside of us can ever really fulfill us. It can add to the joy, right? But if we depend on things outside of us, what happens is we're always at their mercy. And so when something is there, we can be happy, but as soon as it's gone, we're not. Or if something isn't here, we feel its absence and feel its lack. And in that lack, we can experience frustration, just unhappiness. And so the message with Sedna is a reminder that the source of your infinite supply is your connection to the divine source within you. Lakshmi, Sedna, Aphrodite, these goddesses of infinite abundance are the source inside. The source, sacral chakra energy, heart energy, intuition. It doesn't matter where you feel that connection in your womb or in your heart or in your higher chakras, your intuition, your third eye, but it's just such a deep ocean of infinite, abundant gifts and blessings for you that you will tap into the third quarter of next year. So this will be July, August, September. And September really, those 3 months are summer coming into fall. So they're just filled with life all around us, right? I mean, depending on where we live, but generally it's just everything's in full bloom. So what I love about this is as you take that bold, inspired action with Freya, you're going to be blessed with gifts of abundant supply from the inside out. So be open to miracles, to beautiful opportunities, and to very physical, tangible forms and manifestations of abundance as you tap into the infinite source inside of you. Okay. So our final goddess reading is Pele. Pele comes to us in the last quarter of 2019, and her message is divine passion. Be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? So now, again, very similar to Freya, we have this beautiful Hawaiian goddess Pele. I love that she's in the last quarter because last December I was in Hawaii, and in my we do monthly goddess circles on my online temple. You can join them anytime if you'd like. I'll leave a link for you. And we also chose, I felt guided to choose Pele for December, even though she's fire, which is normally like more of a summer energy. But I can see why she comes to us at the end of next year, at the end of 2019. Because I'm just recording this in December right now. So if I say next year, that's why that's happening. But the fire will transform and transmute all that's no longer serving you. And whereas Isis's energy was very spiritual and esoteric and mystical, Pele's energy is very fast and furious. It's like the volcano that erupts and it's done. It's burnt. So it's going to be very intense. But very specifically, her message is about you connecting to and staying true to your divine passion. It's almost like the goddesses are saying, you have done so well all year. You cleared the past and the karmic roots and blocks, and you took inspired, bold action, coming into your power and desire and passion with Freya. And then you open to divine abundance on the outside and by connecting with it first on the inside. And now it's time to just almost let everything be transmuted and create even more powerfully, and ensure that if there's anything that perhaps sometimes we don't realize, like we have really good intentions when we begin the year, but then things can happen throughout the year that just distract us, or we lose touch with our momentum. We maybe start to give away our power a little bit. This card is a lot about us overgiving to others, or not really preserving our energy for ourselves and the things that give us energy. So it's really about being true to yourself. And in order to be true to yourself, you have to know who you are. You have to get really honest with yourself first and foremost. What do you value? What are your priorities? What's important to you? And what parts of your life are in alignment with that, and what is not in alignment with that? What is honoring who you are, what you're here to do, how you want to live, who you want to be, and what is, disempowering that, taking away from that, threatening that you really need to either transform, heal, or transmute in some way, so that you can continue to live in alignment with your soul's truth, your soul's path, right? So that radical self-honesty. And she's saying that once you, again, give yourself permission, so it's almost like the last quarter, we need a bit of a reevaluation and get back on track. Maybe we get really introverted and intuitive in the third quarter. So the last one, we have all this volcanic eruption and momentum and energy, this fire and passion. And if you are lacking that, then it's time to reconnect with your inner volcano. So this is about just being one with the force of Shakti inside of you. Maybe you want to start dancing. Maybe you need to go on vacation. Maybe you need to be in nature. Maybe you need to set a boundary. Maybe you need to take, that class you always wanted to take, or, take things out of your life that are sucking your energy. Any relationships, people, situations that are drained on your energy. You can't have that, right? You need to be around people. Now, just before I say that, okay, we do want to be around people that lift us up and are, on the same wavelength, and that where we mutually uplift and support and inspire each other. That said, this is not, when sometimes our loved ones are going through a crisis or, a challenge. This doesn't mean that we forsake them and abandon them because, you're ruining my vibe, right? That's not the same thing. What I mean is just people who are maybe constantly in victim mode, or just always have a lot of drama and they're not in their power, or they never want to actually do something about it. So if they're just draining you because they're not willing to help themselves, or they're toxic in any other way, that's what I mean, right? Not when our loved ones are just going through something that we do want to support them with, even if sometimes it takes a little more energy for us to hold space for them. But we always want to remember, even in that case, that we don't ever have to heal anyone. So although I call myself a sacred feminine coach and healer just because it's short, if I were to be correct, I would say a healing practitioner, right? So even if we're professional healers, what we really are doing is holding the space for the healing to happen within the other person, between them and the divine, by then opening to that. So maybe we're just giving tools or practices. So the same thing for you, my love. If you are in that space where you're feeling a little burnt out, you need to reignite your fires, your inner fires, and just take stock of the situations, the people, the relationships in your life. Make sure that you are in integrity with yourself, that you are honoring yourself and those in your life, and allowing yourself to live a life that's filled with passion and joy and authenticity, You're really being true to yourself, because this passion will ignite you, will light your fire, your inner fire, and will help you not only to transform and transmute what's not serving you, but it will help you to create what you do desire. So like Pele's volcanic fires, when that lava burns, it does burn everything in its path. So what will need to burn for you next year? Be really mindful of that. And you might want to use the ritual of fire. I have incense burning right now. Then I have some sage behind me on my altar. So maybe you want to write down everything that you're releasing and ceremoniously, very safely burn that, or smudge yourself during that last quarter of 2019. And really surrender to the divine what you're releasing for healing, purification, and transmutation. And then, like those fires, Pele's volcanic fires, when they cool, in time they become this. I was blessed to see this black, rich, dark soil that actually, when the sun shines on it, has this rainbow color, and it's like must be the minerals inside that rich soil. But it's so rich and beautiful. So when you burn what's no longer serving you, and that burning cools, you have now created fertile soils to plant new seeds, like Freya was saying, for beautiful, bold, new beginnings. And so this is going to be the time to make sure that whatever maybe seeds you already planted with Freya earlier in the year, that you're still nurturing them, harvesting them, being true to them, being true to yourself, or that you're now reevaluating and being true to yourself, so that you are truly living in oneness with your divine passion and purpose. Okay, my love. So to bring it all together, first quarter of the year, Isis wants to help you clear the past. So it's basically like if we're using this analogy of the garden or this fertile ground, imagine that there are weeds that their roots go so deep into your past lives. So you want to uproot them from the originating source. So like in my work, when I do past life healing work with my clients in my programs, we go to the originating lifetime where this pattern began, the source, so that we can uproot it from there. And then I do a whole bunch of other things to rewrite and rescript and transform it. So that's the first quarter of the year. Uprooting, clearing, healing, and freeing yourself of any past stuff. When you clear that space, you have the fertile ground to plant new seeds and really ignite you, and just are going to take you on the next level of your life, right? That you want to be on. Then the third quarter, we have Sedna talking to you about infinite abundance, reminding you that you are infinitely supported and supplied for, and to really connect with the source of supply inside of you, God, Goddess within. And then at the end of next year, 2019, the final quarter is Pele, talking to you about clearing, transforming, transmuting, and igniting again, living in oneness with your divine passion. So it's going to be a beautiful, powerful year for you. I will be so excited and happy to see in the comments you keeping me updated on how this reading is unfolding for you, how the year unfolds for you. I hope that these messages really serve you. I will be doing, depending on when you watch this video, in January 2019, my tradition of 12 card month by month readings on Skype, but they're very limited. So if I have any available, I'll leave a link for you. Otherwise, you're welcome to book a goddess coaching session with me and we can still pull some cards. So you can visit me at flourishinggoddess.com. Also, if you want to go deeper with some of these goddesses, I have more resources on my website. And when you sign up for my newsletter, you also receive a 14 goddess chakra meditation. That would be really beautiful for you to do to prepare for the new year or any time to begin to really connect with the sacred feminine and all these beautiful goddesses. So my love, I hope this supported you. Give me a like. Let me know in the comments how it served you, how you feel. Hopefully it inspired you, and subscribe if you like. I am so excited to support you. I hope you have the most beautiful, wonderful year. I pray that you open to all the divine healing, that you are freed from the past, that you take big, bold, inspiring, beautiful new steps on your soul journey that are in alignment with your divine purpose, okay? And just big as your soul, as expansive as you are divinely, and that you open to receiving infinite love, support, supply as a child of the divine, and then that you really live a life filled with passion and fire. Okay, my love, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending you so much love. Namaste.